You're listening to Episode 0, an introductory episode featuring Nurse Fallon. In this episode, you'll get to meet Fallon M. Flowers, learn about her nursing journey, her work as a nurse practitioner, her journey as a nurse entrepreneur, and why she decided to start this podcast and what this podcast will be all about. That's me, y'all. Now listen in.
You're listening to an episode of Listen Up Future Nurse Podcast. Scan the QR code if you're watching, or click the link in the podcast show notes to get your virtual remote. Make sure to tune in and subscribe on Spreaker and follow us on all of your favorite podcast locations. And watch us live online on all of your favorite social media sites.
No login, no problem. No matter if social media isn't your thing or you're taking a break, you can listen in right on our website. Save your data and this episode by downloading it from our website, NursingInspired.com/podcast. So if you have to take a pause, you don't lose your place where you were listening or your battery power. That'll also help our podcast rankings rise to the top.
This podcast is hosted by Fallon M. Flowers.
Do you remember that day you were sitting in high school and one of your instructors started talking about it's time to start preparing your mind for college, thinking about where you want to go, setting goals for the test scores that you'll need to apply, the grades that you need to get while you're here, going on college tours, and making sure you apply for scholarships. That time it may have been new to you, but after a while, this is something you've heard time and time again. Not only from your guidance counselor, but probably every teacher you've had along the way. You already know. This is what they do when they talk about college prep. But did they teach you about the career that you wanted to pursue? You know, something more specific. Something to get your career plans set more in motion. You don't see yourself sitting in that classroom anymore. When you were sitting there daydreaming, you know what you were thinking about? You were thinking about yourself sitting at the nurse's station at your local hospital, saving lives using the art and science of what nurses do.
Go ahead and schedule your one-on-one discovery call today. You're listening to an episode of Listen Up Future Nurse Podcast. Scan the QR code if you're watching, or click the link in the podcast show notes to get your virtual remote. Make sure to tune in and subscribe on Spreaker and follow us on all of your favorite podcast locations. And watch us live online on all of your favorite social media sites.
This podcast is hosted by Fallon M. Flowers, the Black pre-nursing coach and board-certified women's health nurse practitioner serving patients in obstetrics and gynecology on the Southside of Chicago. Fallon has made many contributions in her area of practice, including preceptor, instructor, and journal peer reviewer. She is known for her advocacy and speaking on women's health topics for the last 20 years, including to the youth. Fallon has been recognized for her mentorship since 2015 in her efforts to combat the nursing workforce shortage by serving as an instructor and academic coach to college-bound youth and non-traditional adult students. She has spoken to youth as young as 10 years old about nursing and frequently speaks for high schools and youth groups about nursing careers both globally and locally. Fallon was the host of 2 television specials, Pre-Nursing in Color and Suits and Scrubs, The Black Men of Nursing. She was a dedicated host in her Clubhouse forum, Student Support Sunday, for Recognized as a nursing leader, Fallon has received several awards, grants, and scholarships from national and state level organizations. She's also been inducted into the International Honor Society of Nursing, Sigma Theta Tau. She has accepted several keynote speaker invitations and is frequently requested to contribute on advisory, nonprofit, and executive boards. As a flourishing entrepreneur, Fallon is the founder and CEO of NursingInspired LLC. With her online school and one-to-one coaching, she encourages her fellow business owners in various capacities and her fellow nurses and nurse practitioners how they can become entrepreneurs too. Fallon M. Flowers, entrepreneur, speaker, and pre-nursing career coach.
Here we are. So I am Fallon M. Flowers, nurse practitioner, also known as the Black Pre-Nursing Coach at NursingInspired. You probably want to know more about who I am, and so let's get into it. So I am a Christian believer, the oldest born of two. I'm a December born Sagittarius to my mom and dad. I was born and raised by a widowed mom on the Southside of Chicago in the Chatham neighborhood. My father passed when I was 6 and my brother was 3. Besides being a daughter and sister, I'm an auntie to a nephew and 2 nieces, and kind of a pseudo auntie and dog mom to a large 100-pound plus 2-colored eye dog named Blue. And next to my love of my favorite color, purple, is animals, already being a dog mom. But one of my greatest joys growing up was really when we bred and raised Rottweiler puppies. And that was one of the best times of my life, and I'll never forget it. I'm also a bird watcher, and I really love spending time in nature. And that includes doing my backyard yoga if I'm not doing yoga in the house most days of the week. I really love yoga and Pilates, and that kind of stems from my decades long practice of dance. So I began performing and starting, when I was about 6 years old, started performing dancing, things like ballet, jazz, and other forms of dance along the way. And that went through college, being on my college dance troupe and performing in for audiences of like 300 to 400 people every spring and fall. And although I was a science major, a lot of people thought that my major was dance because how much I danced on and off the stage. And so now I don't perform, I don't perform anymore per se, but I'll tell you, if some house music come on, some reggae, some salsa merengue or something like that, I can't promise that Fallon won't come to the stage. Dance floor. So definitely love to dance. I'm also a friend, slash sister to many that I've come to know over the years. Now to the point that their moms are like my mom, and their families are like mine too. So besides that, I am in a long time committed relationship with a very loving, thoughtful, and supportive man who has been behind me, my career, and my business just for these many years that we have been together. I also love food. So some people may consider me or call me Foodie Fallon, because the best way to my heart is to feed me, okay? I love me some good food. Lord have mercy. Let me see. Besides that, I am technically bilingual. I guess what you would consider a francophone. So, je parle français, j'ai étudié le langage à lycée et université pour 7 années, probablement. Which pretty much I just said I speak French. I studied the language in high school and college for about 6 or 7 years probably. And this is something that is hard to hold on to because I don't meet many people that speak French. So I'm kind of losing some of my skills here. But hey, I guess I'm not doing too bad after studying French starting in 95. Anyhow, the other thing that's so weird about that is that I'm actually what's considered Afro-Latina, which is a new term that I actually learned because all this time I just considered myself Black or African American. But I'm actually 1/4 Puerto Rican, so I'm Afro-Latina, but I speak French and don't speak any Spanish, except for what I learned from my patients. So that's about all I have. As for you all that are looking, I am Team Natural Hair. I'm a curly haired girl. Most folks that know me can spot me across the room when my hair is down because I have this big Diana Ross type curl thing going on when you see me. But I have it contained today. Thank goodness for this pre-episode. You know, I had wash day a couple of days ago, so it's holding down the mane. I am a glasses wearer, and best believe I got to have me a nice frame game. So I don't know if y'all take notice here, but and that's with or without lenses. So I actually have some lensless frames that I wear just for fashion sometimes when I have my contacts on. And then outside of that, I'll say I'm a fashionista, so I love me some accessories. I don't know if y'all can see this badge that I have on this badge reel, but this is made by Reflections from Zana. So it is a badge reel holder, and she's got curly hair, puff here, and she's got a red, black, and green scarf on. Okay, y'all, it's all about representation, and representation definitely matters. Anyhow, let me see. So yeah, so love fashion. And for those of you who know, Pops would say you got to coordinate, you know, so I'm trying to coordinate over here today, y'all. If I'll say, if any of you guys are digging this African print handmade Ankara blazer that I have on, let me tell you all about it, okay?
Today's Black-owned business moment is brought to you by Diggin Her Roots Boutique, a Black-owned, female-founded company that specializes in African-inspired statement pieces, sorority paraphernalia, HBCU apparel, and all things for the culture. If you love this jacket that I'm wearing in today's episode and you want to get your own, or you want to make your own bold fashion statement and show love for the culture, as a brand ambassador, I got a little something for you. If you click the link in the episode show notes and use coupon code NurseFlowers in all caps, you'll get 15% off your purchases. Make sure to show love for the culture and your closet, support me, and help this Black-owned, female-owned business. That was Diggin Her Roots for your Black-owned business moment.
I would like to probably next talk about what is my nursing journey. And so my nursing journey, I actually, funny enough, didn't want to become a nurse growing up. I knew that I wanted to go into obstetrics and gynecology. And how all of that came about basically is that my mom, she said to me and my brother, "Hey, what do you want to do when you grow up?" And neither one of us knew. And she told us, "Well, you know, you better be a doctor or an engineer. So look at one of those two and figure it out." And so I didn't know what an engineer was, but I knew what a doctor was. At that time, I had already had enjoyment and appreciation for the human body and science, reproduction, because I had gone to, I can't remember the name of that place. I want to say it's not Robert Crown. I think it was the Robert Crown Center or something like that, where you learn about reproduction. Those from Chicago know what I'm talking about. But I knew that was an area that I wanted to get into and do, right? So fast forward, so throughout high school, you know, I knew I was like, okay, I was looking at that, even considering like neurosurgery. I don't know. I just love the brain, right? That's my favorite organ. So that's another thing about me. Went away to college, did my thing there. And as I was in a a program called Future Doctors, Future Leaders, which was a program created by Dr. Donald J. Tynes in the Benton Harbor area of Michigan, actually. I went there for a summer and stayed with my aunt, and I, practiced, I learned under him and everything, just what it would be like to be a future doctor or a healthcare leader. And one day while I was there, the nurse practitioner was actually kind of running the clinic while he was doing rounds at the hospital. And so I had never heard of a nurse practitioner, but I knew I needed to still get my hours and just do what I needed to do. So I started asking her questions. She started telling me things. I remember looking in somebody's ear and just, I don't know, it was just the way she taught me and talked to me and just learning and seeing what she was able to do. I was like overjoyed, I was in love, overjoyed. I remember telling my aunt when I got back to her place, well, it was later after that, I think, but it really kind of stuck with me. But I remember later still getting back in contact with that same aunt and telling her, I think I'm going to be a nurse practitioner and I'm going to do it in women's health. So after I graduated undergrad, and that was at Western Illinois University, I came back home, took prereqs at Chicago State and the city colleges of Chicago, Olive Harvey, and then started applying to nursing programs. I applied to different ones, and basically I just chose the first one that I got into first. However, there were some hiccups and mishaps, which I may talk about later on the podcast. But I was accepted into the program, associate degree program at Olive Harvey College, and that was one of the city colleges of Chicago. So we started the program, got in my first year. But before we can get to the second year, they decided to close down the program. And it was a host of reasons, which I'll talk about in another podcast too, that they came up with. But nevertheless, they split up my class, and half of us went to Daly College. The other half went to Malcolm X. I was able to go to Daly College, and I was able to graduate from there with my associate's degree in nursing, and that was in 2011. Worked for some years in nursing, and then throughout that time, I wound up applying to the nurse practitioner program at Loyola University, Chicago. And from there, I actually did a dual program. It was a dual RN to MSN program, along with the women's program at the same time. So I did that program, dual program, and together I graduated in 2017 from that. And along the way, I was in a lot of nursing organizations and things such as National Black Nurses Association, Nurse Practitioners at Women's Health, got inducted into Sigma Theta Tau International, which is known as STTI. While I was at Olive Harvey and Daly College, of course, I don't know how I forgot this. I was in the Student Nurses Association, NSNA. It was the OSNAC chapter when we were at Olive Harvey, but when we got to Daly College, it became DSNAC. But that was kind of my journey of, going into nursing and nursing school, just briefly. So what I currently do in nursing. So I am two things. I am a board certified women's health nurse practitioner. I work in obstetrics and gynecology. I've been doing that for, since 2018 altogether. Yeah, 2018, I had to think about it. I graduated in 2017. So yeah, started doing that in 2018. And it's always been in the community health setting, either on the south side of Chicago or south suburbs of Chicago that I've been doing that. And I really, really love community health. And that's so where it's at for me. Just being able to give back to my people and just be underserved, just in general, folks that are underinsured and have low income. I really love being able to give back and serve in that capacity, but with women's health. So that's what I do with work. And with that, just a little bit more. So what I generally do is things like woman exams, and that may include a breast exam, pelvic exam, and pap smear, which is a cervical cancer screening. Other things may be because people may have an issue with something going on with their breast. They want breast reductions, for instance, or they have they feel a lump or have some breast change. Period issues, vaginal discharge, BV, yeast issues, STD testing, urinary tract infections, fertility testing, and counseling and things like that. And then, of course, prenatal care from the beginning of pregnancy all the way to the end. I don't deliver babies. I always clarify that, especially for my patients. Are you going to deliver my baby? You going to be there next Flowers? No. I'm not a midwife, so I won't be there. But, prenatal care, postpartum care. So that's a little bit about what I do as far as my career. Now, I'm also a business owner as well, or entrepreneur. So I am the CEO and founder of NursingInspired LLC. And we'll kind of get more into that. But essentially what I do is one-on-one coaching with students who are future nurses and who would like to become a nurse, and help with not only one-on-one coaching for short term, but long term. That can be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, because sometimes it takes that long. But other things are I provide ways for just in general for students to be prepared, organized, and inspired to apply to nursing school. So that's essentially what I do with that. And then I have an online school as well as downloadables on my online school as well. So that's a little bit about what I do. Let's take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Let's be honest. How many hours have you spent on Google and YouTube already trying to find out how to become a nurse and what it's all about? Instead of time-consuming internet searches, how about trying a course or a program where all the research has been done for you? Instead of pop-up ads during your internet search, how about distraction-free learning? Instead of trying to piece it all together and trying to find all the free advice you can, sign up today to take our Nursing 100 course. I took the frustrations and all of the self-guided research from my own experience and put everything into this interactive course. If you'd like to sponsor a student to take this online course, please send an email to info@NursingInspired.com. You're listening to an episode of Listen Up Future Nurse Podcast. Scan the QR code if you're watching, or click the link in the podcast show notes to get your virtual remote. Make sure to tune in and subscribe on Spreaker and follow us on all your favorite podcast locations. And watch us live online on all of your favorite social media sites. Do you have ideas about who would be a great guest on this show, or perhaps you have a topic that you want discussed? Let us know. Send me an email at info@NursingInspired.com or text at 773-609-0649.
So I am back. I forgot to show my little frame that I created. So I just wanted to share that and kind of bring that up on the screen while I am continuing this interview in this first episode and everything. And so I wanted to dive back into just more about who Nurse Fallon is, right? So I talked a little bit about this. So I told you about Nursing Inspired, but I didn't talk about why I chose nurse entrepreneurship, or really almost why it chose me. And with that, what my why was behind all of this. And so for Nursing Inspired came up because I was in my program at Loyola University Chicago, and some kind of way I came to find out about their pre-college summer scholar program that they were hosting, something that they host every year in the summertime, where they allow high school students for a week. And during their stay at the university, they get to pick within several different categories what industry that they are kind of interested in, just in general. And then within those subcategories of the different industries, they can look at the, I guess I'll say, subcategories. And so there was one kind of surrounding like healthcare. And I saw different healthcare industries that were represented except for nursing. And I said, what? No, what is this? I said, the youth have to know about nursing. And so I submitted the proposal for the course for the 1 week seminar, 25 hours of content. I wrote this while sitting in Panera Bread. I was supposed to be doing some homework, but that's okay. I still passed the program. I graduated. I made it, y'all. But so I submitted the proposal in my bio and all the stuff they wanted. It got accepted. I taught that program, I think 6 times, I want to say, altogether from 2015 to 2018, those summers. And throughout that time, I wanted to make sure that Black youth had the opportunity as well. I wanted to make sure that, again, I'm all about community, my people and everything. So I wanted to make sure. So I was creating flyers over the years, and I would always share them on social media. And if I saw people in person, give it to them too. After a while, I started being invited to different high schools and different after-school programs to come to speak to people, to students, about a career in nursing, which was great. It was awesome. I even started, mentoring students as well individually and helping them in their process of applying to nursing school. And so as we were kind of getting towards the last of the time that I was teaching in the program, there were updates where the program, and I don't know if necessarily it was targeted or specific to me or if more than one instructor was doing this or what, I don't know. Definitely not making that as a statement. But the new requirement or update was that you could not advertise on behalf of the program. The program allowed the university to do the marketing for them. And so the marketing, as I was told, and I made sure to ask this verbally and in writing to make sure. And what I was trying to find out was, not what I was trying to find out was, I reached out actually. This is before this update came. And so I said, hey, is this program marketed to any of the predominantly Black private schools and public schools in Chicago, especially on the South Side? And I was told, no, not necessarily, where, some of them could be on that list. Primarily, the marketing was, it was promoted towards international schools as well as schools that they had previous success with, as far as, entering into the program. So that was really the emphasis of what they were doing. And so they told us when it came time for that update, that last year or two, we don't want you all marketing on behalf. Make sure that we allow just the university to market for the program. Okay. So that was one thing. The other thing was that my class started to be at capacity. It was starting to be at capacity, I think, from popularity, not only from past students that, may have talked about it, but after a while, there were even students that were interested in medicine and being physician's assistants that also wanted to take my class just to learn more about nursing, just to make sure before they kind of made that final decision, but at least have some comparison and just get a better understanding of what nursing is all about. So, but my class kept getting to the capacity where they asked me, hey, do you think you can share your curriculum so that we could have another instructor teach it? No, we weren't doing that. So I said, I'm sorry, no, I'm not able to do that. And so that told me that I had more to use or work with. And so with that, that's where NursingInspired was born. So in the midst of really kind of ending my dual program, RN to MSN program, a Women's Health Nurse Practitioner program, I founded NursingInspired LLC, which was on November 7, 2017. And so here we are today. So now I'm going on 7 years. I just can't believe it. And so since that time, it's definitely been a journey, but I have, gone through, and I've had a couple of business coaches. So shout out to the renowned Michelle Green Rhodes, and then also the renowned Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris, who is my current coach. And through all of this, now I'm even being called on to speak about nurse entrepreneurship and different things along the way, which I'm so very grateful for. And so I did not set out to do any of this when I went to nursing school or when I went to my nurse practitioner program. I was all about women's health all day long, OB-GYN. I never sought out or thought about becoming an entrepreneur. And so, as I mentioned in one of my last keynote speeches about entrepreneurship for National Black Nurses Day this past 2024 for Chicago, here in Chicago, I talked about how God wakes you up in the midnight hour, and for me, it's the 5 o'clock hour, even if I don't want to. And so that's where I am. So I continue to be obedient and listen. And when it's time to get up and write some notes or do some work, I go ahead and do it. So that's what it is. So I mentioned before, prepared, organized, and inspired. So for you, those of you who want to know what that's all about, so those are the 3 goals that I have for Nursing Inspired. And specifically, I didn't get to mention about my business or with Nursing Inspired what it is. So Nursing Inspired LLC is the name of the business. The name of my signature system is called the Nursing Inspired Prescription. And so when I talked about the coaching that I have and the downloadables and the classes and things, how I have it organized is that, for those of you who go on my school website, you can get a sample dose of the Nursing Inspired Prescription by taking like a sample course, for instance. There is PRN, which stands for As Needed in Nursing and Healthcare. I will use that acronym. PRN dose of the Nursing Inspired Prescription. So for those, who want to kind of touch in and touch out, they don't have anything very specific, but that's how students work with me. There is a single dose of the Nursing Inspired Prescription where students can just get one thing for their coaching or one or a few downloadables. They kind of take it and go, and that's it. And then there's the extended release of the Nursing Inspired Prescription, where those who kind of are more for the longer haul with me and they want to make sure that they are kind of being more concentrated just for like their nursing school applications, just for their financial planning and scholarships, or just for their professional development and all of those types of things as they try to make themselves more competitive for their applications. That is what I do with the Nursing Inspired Prescription. And the goals of the Nursing Inspired Prescription are to be prepared, organized, and inspired. So with that, I believe that when you are applying to nursing school, that you really need to be prepared. There are just so many different things that, as they say, what you don't know, you don't know. That is so true, especially when it comes to applying to nursing school. So I really try to make sure to prepare students as much as possible. There's nothing worse than, how we say, nobody told me that. I wish somebody would have told me that. No, I told you. So I made sure to if I didn't do the research for you as a student, I teach you how to research it or what to look for or what to consider at the very least to make sure that you feel prepared. The other thing about all of this is being organized. Absolutely have to do that. When you are looking at all the different nursing schools you're applying to and colleges, you're looking at the scholarships you're applying to, the financial aid packages. When you are, because the last thing you want to do is miss a deadline, or you thought that it was a certain requirement for a certain school or scholarship was a certain thing and it wasn't. So that's where kind of the organized piece comes in. And so that is part of what I do with the organizational tools that I have, the downloadable sheets. So I have those, one to track your prerequisites that you're taking, one to track your schools that you're applying to, and one to track the scholarships that you're applying to. But not only that, but I also work with students about their digital organization with their documents, as well as, if they're going to go to things like interviews in person, for instance, how they're going to be organized in person with their documents as well. So definitely all about that. I am a lover of Excel, can you tell? And then the last part is about being inspired. The journey of applying to nursing school can be so stressful. You can, get overwhelmed in the process. Sometimes it's confusing. And, some people go about it alone. They don't have a mentor, a coach. They don't have a community around them. And so with that, you can kind of lose hope. Some people have family members and friends that are saying to them, why you want to be a nurse? Why don't you be a doctor or, some other field? Or they have guidance counselors that say to them, maybe nursing isn't for you, which is still going on today. Students of all, backgrounds and walks of life are still being discouraged from nursing. And this is from people who never worked as a nurse. But anyhow, I digress. I want to make sure that with the inspire part, with the, continued coaching that students have with me and kind of those touches and everything with being regularly kind of having that accountability with somebody and to kind of celebrate your positives and your pluses, but talk about the minuses of the whole process, to just have somebody to debrief with and kind of lean on. That's one thing. But the other thing is that I also make sure that I expose students that I work with to other nurses that I know and kind of share my network so that they can kind of have some inspiration of, what they're going to look forward to, especially if I can connect that student with someone in that particular field. So if they say, I want to be a psychiatric nurse, I'm going to try to introduce them to a psychiatric nurse. And, if that they want to go into labor and delivery, introduce them to a labor and delivery nurse that I know. And then I further, of course, try to make sure, since y'all know representation matters, and that's something I absolutely believe in. I want to also make sure that if I can, I try to introduce them to somebody who is Black. So that's the other thing with that. And then otherwise, events. If there are events and opportunities to network with nurses and nurse practitioners and folks that are just in the industry in general, the different specialties and groups that students can kind of meet and learn from, definitely sending them that way. And then, of course, if there are any Black nursing organization events or just something hosted by a Black nurse, definitely going to do that too. So, for me, that's kind of what it's all about. I really just want to make sure that I am, just helping to inspire the next generation of Black nurse leaders. And so that is what Prepared, Organized, and Inspired is all about. So I want to go to another quick commercial break. I'll be right back in just a moment. And so we'll finish up this interview in just a moment.
Attention business owners, are you ready to tap into the fast-growing market of the nursing community? Partner with us to showcase your products or services to this dedicated audience. Nursing programs, especially at HBCUs, educational programs like CNA, phlebotomy, and CPR, healthcare staffing agencies, and businesses focused on self-care and mental health support. If you're a business focused on providing solutions for the nursing inspired, our platform provides a unique opportunity to especially connect with future nurses eager to invest in their education and career. You could be next for a sponsorship advertising opportunity on the Listen Up Future Nurse podcast. Contact us at info@NursingInspired.com to learn more about advertising opportunities today.
5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they can have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
And we are back. And so I just have to say really quickly before we finish up this, that the power of we, please make sure that you support. My first time going to the power of we was back in 2022. Such an incredible event. Not only did I attend, and it was held at the Stan Mansion at the time, but I was also a vendor there and a panel speaker as well. But the amount of joy that was in the room from all of these Black youth that I was able to see was amazing, and the choir that was there, and the things that were, given away to the students, and the way they were poured into. What an amazing event! So, y'all know that for me, it's not just about the future nurses, but about just future generations. Really have a big heart for the youth, but even more so those that look like me. But I love everybody though. Best believe. But what an amazing event. So just wanted to shout that out to support. And that was actually Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris, my coach, that was in the video that you saw speaking. Now, just to finish up. So why did I want to start this podcast? So I wanted to start this podcast because I had done Clubhouse for a couple of years. So for those of you who were following me before, or who are family or friends, you may have seen that I was hosting a group mentorship forum called Student Support Sunday for Black pre-nursing students. So that was so amazing. I met people from all across the United States, but not only that, but from parts of Africa and Canada. I mean, it was truly amazing to be able to talk with people on that platform and be able to host that. So from there, it was every Sunday for a while. Then it went to like every other Sunday. But from 2021 to 2023, we did that. And I keep saying we because although I was the host, I had some dedicated nurses and nursing students that always came back again and again to help me help the next generation. So students would come in and they would ask questions about, the type of schools that they should pick, how many schools they should pick, how do I become this type of nurse, all of these different types of things. And we would just answer their questions for them and just kind of be there and, and celebrate their wins when they, passed the T's or when they got an acceptance letter. I mean, after a while of hosting that, I was able to see a few students who, folks who started off as pre-nursing students or nursing students who became nursing graduates. And so it was such an honor to be able to kind of be there with them along the journey and just kind of cheer them on and be there for them for the tough times and everything in between. So I really love doing that. And then some things changed with Clubhouse. So those of you who know, it's not the same anymore. It wasn't the same. And so, I wasn't able to kind of have that back and forth conversation anymore, or just kind of share things like the way I still wanted to. So in the midst of the last year, while I was doing Clubhouse, I also hosted 2 television specials. One was Pre-Nursing in Color, What to Know About Applying to Nursing School as a Minority and Black Student. And then the other panel and television show that I hosted was called Suits and Scrubs, The Black Men of Nursing. So I hosted both of those as well. So I got my little taste of how to operate behind the scenes of not Clubhouse, StreamYard, which I'm still learning, as you all can see, for those who are watching. But with that experience, it was just like, wow, being able to kind of feature other nurses and pre-nursing students and nursing students in the field, all people who are kind of in this whole pipeline. And being able to share this with folks, I kind of caught a little bit of a bug and wanted to do more. And so those were great opportunities. You can actually find both of those on my website, NursingInspired.com, under the events socialized tab. And you'll be able to see the replay for both of those with the workbooks and everything there to do that. But that was part of the reason why, I wanted to do this. And so I just wanted to continue to kind of highlight, but be a little bit more specific. So now I actually want to more interview people, of certain areas and kind of bring it more of an interview type style. So I was very grateful for that group mentorship forum, but now I want to kind of do something a little bit more structured, but I also want to actually bring my face to the screen. So, people saw the little avatar of me talking and all of that, while we were on Clubhouse and everything. But I think that it helps to kind of be a little bit more personable and say, hey, so my face tells it all. So, so that's the other thing is that, and people tell me my facial expressions are funny. I don't know. But, for those who want to watch, if you are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, tune in and watch and listen to the podcast. Otherwise, if you're listening on whatever podcast location, the area that you're on, just go ahead and listen. If that's on the Nursing Inspired website, the Spreaker website or app. And then coming soon, the other location. So that'll be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio once I publish a few episodes and get a lot more followers and everything going. But that's really part of the reason why to get ready, absolutely. So that's what that's all about. Now, what will I be talking about? So this is the last of everything that I wanted to share with you all. So for me, Listen Up, Future Nurse is, for, of course, as the title implies, for future nurses. And that is, primarily geared towards those that are pre-nursing students, but also nursing students as well. So this is going to be things about, preparing for college readiness, applying for nursing programs, applying for scholarships, paying for nursing school, self-care. While you're in the midst of this process, I want students to hear from themselves, folks that look like them that are themselves. So other pre-nursing students and nursing students, but also nurses of different specialties, especially the ones that a lot of students want to go into. Nursing school deans and folks that are in admissions department. Also those that work in like the financial aid department, things like that. And then of course, with a twist for the culture, making sure that that this is, geared towards Black future nurses more than anything. And so there may be, scholarships that I'll highlight or HBCUs, things like that. So that's kind of what generally we'll be talking about in the show. And so I'm so very excited to bring this to you all. This has been quite an amazing journey and will be an amazing journey. And so I look forward to bringing the first episode to you all, Nurses Week 2024, Wednesday, May 8th. And so make sure to tune in to listen in for my first guest. And so I'm so very excited to bring them to you. And otherwise, I thank you all for tuning in to episode 000, listening to learn more about Nurse Fallon, aka myself, the Black Pre-Nursing Coach. Thanks so much, you guys. Y'all have a great one, okay?
So now you've decided you want to be a nurse. Everything looks so differently now. You start noticing the news articles, seeing ads on YouTube and on your social media. You start watching all the TV shows that are medical and have nurses involved, don't you? Even when you go to your doctor's office or to the hospital, you start watching, observing, absorbing, taking it all in and saying to yourself, one day, I'm going to be a nurse. Well, one thing I'll make sure to say is that representation matters. And the amount of Black nurses are still quite small. And we want to make sure that Black future nurses are prepared, organized, and inspired to apply to nursing school. Who am I? I'm Fallon Flowers, a board-certified nurse practitioner, the Black pre-nursing coach, and founder of NursingInspired. We have organizational tools, coaching, and courses. One of those courses is the Nursing 100 course, a pre-nursing intro to nursing course
that talks about education, salary, certifications, organizations, work environment, and so much more. So many students in the past have taken my courses. They've had coaching from me. They've had mentorship and had lots of things to say. Now it's your turn. Are you ready to take your sample dose of the NursingInspired prescription? Come learn from the Black Pre-Nursing Coach how to prepare, plan, and pay for nursing school. Go ahead and schedule your one-on-one discovery call today.
All right, it's a wrap. Make sure to watch us live, listen to your favorite podcast locations, leave us a review, or if you'd like to reach out to support this podcast, reach out to me as a speaker, or sign up for coaching, please use your virtual remote. You can give us a review on your favorite place to listen or watch this podcast, such as Google, Yelp, or Trustpilot, and you can reach those from the virtual remote as well by scanning the QR code on the screen or by visiting bit.ly/FutureNursePodcast. Love what we're doing and want to create live streams like this? You can access the sign-up referral link in the show notes for StreamYard. If you'd like to be organized like the virtual remote, consider making one for your next event or as a link in bio with Societap. Please support this Black female-owned company and get yours today.